Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another Jurassic World Chaos Theory video. Yeah, still not quite used to saying that just yet, but we'll get there. The official Chaos Theory teaser trailer released almost a week ago now, and if you happen to have missed it, we did an entire breakdown video regarding it where we showcased everything that you may have missed during the trailer. This could be Easter eggs, hidden details, and much more. But one thing that I happen to have missed in my trailer breakdown is what we're going to be discussing today, and it's actually quite interesting. To be honest, I'm not quite sure how I actually missed it, but it's clear that there are some footprints left in the road. Originally, I must have mistaken these for potholes potentially, considering where the road resides, but it actually seems like Darius was instead tracking something. So today, we're going to work out what exactly Darius was tracking in the Chaos Theory trailer. So when you're ready, sit back, relax, enjoy your G Fuel after using code SWERVE, as it's time to try and identify what dinosaur Darius may have been tracking in the Jurassic World Chaos Theory teaser trailer. Right, so we're back completely off script and we're back to doing theory videos just like what we did for Camp Cretaceous. So what is today's theory? Well, we can actually pull the rabbit out of the hat here and actually identify what this species that Darius may have been tracking could be. So what we can tell from this image, we can tell that it is a dinosaur moving from tree line to tree line. And the way that we can tell this is by taking a look at this screenshot right here. Within this screenshot, it clearly shows 4 footprints. And those footprints seem to be coming from the top of the screen to the bottom of the screen. Now, as you can also see, Darius was driving with his truck and came round the bend before seeing these footprints. Hence why that is probably why he decided to brake the car so harshly and spin it around and get out of the car. Because what I assume is next happening in this scene is that he's going to walk towards those footprints, identify what they could be, and then track where the dinosaur is going. Now obviously this is a quadrupedal dinosaur, I highly doubt it's anything bipedal, so this must be a sauropod of some kind, simply because of how heavy sauropods are, they can actually leave footprints like this in tarmac and in dirt. So therefore, it's clear that a sauropod of some kind was being tracked here and moved from tree line to tree line across the road. So I don't doubt that that's exactly what happened here. Darius drove round the bend, saw the footprints, pulled over, decided to get out, identify what these footprints could be, and track where the dinosaur was going, which from what we can see is from the top of the screen to the bottom of the screen. So that leads us to think, what species do we have sauropod-wise in the franchise? Well, typically there's 4 main sauropods that we do know of. The obvious one being Brachiosaurus, which has shown up in the most, Apatosaurus is also there, Dreadnoughtus, and Mamenchisaurus. So let's try and decipher which one is the most realistic option here. So when we look at Brachiosaurus, what do we have? It's basically the franchise's sauropod, it's been in Jurassic Park, it's had a big scene in Camp Cretaceous, it had a big scene in Fallen Kingdom, and yeah, so it's a dinosaur that's well beloved. But at the very end of Camp Cretaceous Season 5, the Brachiosaurus was the very last dinosaur to appear in the entire series, and was the first dinosaur that Darius actually saw on the mainland. So trying to connect the dots here, it makes sense for Darius to be tracking a Brachiosaurus in California, since that's where Camp Cretaceous ended. However, what if he's not doing that? When we take a look at Apatosaurus shows up a lot in Jurassic World. It's basically the new sauropod trying to replace Brachiosaurus. It didn't really show up too much in Fallen Kingdom, it merely just escaped Lockwood's Manor, and I believe it was barely in Jurassic World Dominion, just in the snow in the mainland. So we do know that Apatosauruses are on the mainland and they do exist there. However, it did not show up in Camp Cretaceous whatsoever, which again was a major surprise along with the Triceratops. So they could be doing something here where they want the Apatosaurus to instead appear in Chaos Theory, since they did see that loads and loads of fans pointed out the obvious, that it did not appear in Camp Cretaceous. Now the other sauropod, Mamenchisaurus, let's just say it has absolutely no love. One of my favourite sauropods, just because of how elongated and how cool it looks in the Lost World, doesn't appear anywhere within the franchise besides the Lost World Jurassic Park. So I'm not too sure if this could be Mamenchisaurus, but I'd absolutely love it to be. But the other sauropod, Dreadnoughtus. Dreadnoughtus, it's a tricky one. Whilst you can technically say that it does appear in a similar amount of time on screen as the Mamenchisaurus does, Dreadnoughtus seems to be the new wave and the dinosaur that people really loved. Mamenchisaurus kind of just got glossed over in that 1 3-second scene, whereas Dreadnoughtus actually had a beautiful showcase for it, it had a new DLC specific for it as well in Jurassic World Evolution 2, and more importantly, Alan Grant specifically mentions it by name in Jurassic World Dominion as well.
Is that Dreadnoughtus?
So it seems like Dreadnoughtus may be the move forward for a brand new sauropod in this franchise whenever we get new shows and movies after Dominion. So each sauropod has their own reasoning to be in discussion here. So let's try identify what this could be by the footprints themselves. Let's put us into Darius' position here. When we take a look at the Brachiosaurus' footprint from Camp Cretaceous Hidden Adventure, which is an interactive episode on Netflix, if you actually pick one of the wrong options in one of the decisions to make, you can actually have a Brachiosaurus step on and kill Darius and Ben. So when we actually take a look frame by frame before the sauropod actually presses down on the gyrosphere, we can see that that footprint doesn't quite match the footprints that we do see. In some ways it does, yes, but identifying the footprint here, it has some sort of really sharp toe on the inside on its left hand side of the body. So therefore, I don't think that it's going to be Brachiosaurus that he's tracking here, unfortunately. But again, they could just retcon something design wise. But again, the footprints clearly show that there's some kind of protruding spiked toe coming from the inside of the foot. So we have to try and identify that and use that to try and work out what sauropod this could be. So, when we go back to the Lost World, we can clearly see in a split-second scene that Mamenchisaurus has exactly this. From Jurassic World, we can also see that the Apatosaurus also has this as well. So therefore, those two footprints could actually be Apatosaurus or Mamenchisaurus. Talking about Dreadnoughtus, we don't really see its footprints too much, but we do get its official model when we do look online for it. And within its official model, it unfortunately seems like it just has a very stubbed foot, so it doesn't really have the toe that we're looking for, so I highly doubt that this could be Dreadnoughtus. Now, Mamenchisaurus was also rumoured for Camp Cretaceous, but never really happened. I believe the rumour circulated way back in Camp Cretaceous Season 2, Season 3 days, when something in Poland happened, if I'm remembering correctly, and Mamenchisaurus, Triceratops, and another dinosaur, I can't remember which one it was, I think maybe Ceratosaurus, also appeared there, so we suspected that Mamenchisaurus may be appearing in Camp Cretaceous. Unfortunately, as we now know, that never happened. Likewise with the Apatosaurus, that never appeared in Camp Cretaceous either, so these two sauropods have a reason to debut in Chaos Theory. They weren't in the previous show. But now we start to identify and start using a little bit of maths here. I hate maths, so I'm not going to go into numbers, don't you worry, but overall, Mamenchisaurus is a much longer and larger of a creature than to Apatosaurus. And from the naked eye, these footprints match the Mamenchisaurus' size without a doubt, especially when you start to compare it to the size of the truck that Darius is driving. But unfortunately, we do know that Mamenchisaurus is a very long dinosaur as well. It doesn't to me seem like the footprints really match the stride of the dinosaur. Therefore, Mamenchisaurus, I don't know, the footprint size is there but the stride isn't. These footprints actually match the stride of an Apatosaurus to me instead, a much smaller sauropod. So when we try to pair these two sauropods up together, Apatosaurus and Mamenchisaurus both have the same amount of reasoning to be there. The size of the footprints match Mamenchisaurus, but the stride doesn't. The size of the footprints do not match Apatosaurus, but instead the stride does. So they're quite equal into what it could be. Either way, overall, I'm just not entirely sure which of the two it actually could be. It could be either one. But if these footprints are to go off and anything to actually look into deeply, then it means that it is definitely at least one of the two, unless obviously they want to introduce a brand new sauropod into the franchise. But again, this is all according to what we've already seen in the franchise. We know that Apatosaurus and Mamenchisaurus both have very similar footprints as to what we see here in the Chaos Theory teaser trailer. And Brachiosaurus and Dreadnoughtus just simply do not match it. But again, there is still that tiny possibility that Dreadnoughtus could be the reasoning as to why we see footprints here, just because it did actually appear in Dominion and fans absolutely loved this sauropod. So easily they can just retcon this creature's footprint because technically we only see it in the external models and we don't really see it in the universe. So this could still be Dreadnoughtus depending on how the writers decided to write this scene. But just at the moment, not much adds up for this species like the others of Mamenchisaurus and Apatosaurus. Because when you look at its backstory, the DNA sequence of Dreadnoughtus was found in the ending of Fallen Kingdom, and it looks like it was shipped out to Biosyn. And obviously the only time we see Dreadnoughtus on screen is in the Biosyn Valley, in the Dolomites in Italy, far away from California. So having a wild Dreadnoughtus roaming about doesn't make too much sense, depending on where that genome sequence went, but it's highly likely that it did go to Biosyn. But again, it just doesn't seem too much sense to have a Dreadnoughtus running around. But it didn't stop me from dreaming and making it today's thumbnail, because I really do enjoy that creature, and hopefully it does return in some manner. But yeah, that's why I wanted to make it today's thumbnail. It's also very unlikely to be the Brachiosaurus. I mean, sure, the Brachiosaurus does have an alibi of living in California, and it does have some substantial foundation to it, but the footprint just doesn't match it whatsoever. Same goes for Dreadnoughtus, really. So that leaves us to the two most likely candidates of Mamenchisaurus and Apatosaurus. None of them actually appeared in Camp Cretaceous. Apatosaurus is the only one that we know was released from Lockwood's estate from what we can see in Fallen Kingdom, so we can confirm it's definitely on the mainland. But Mamenchisaurus, not so much. All we know is that East of the Sauna species were taken off East of the Sauna at some stage between 2016 and 2022, so there is still a possibility that Mamenchisaurus could have been one of those species taken off of East of the Sauna and put onto the mainland. We just don't know quite yet, but what a way it would be if it does in fact appear in Camp Cretaceous' sequel series, Chaos Theory. To me, I would absolutely love the return of this creature, and we were teased that they are going to be focusing slightly on the legacy of this franchise. So, obviously, a legacy dinosaur in Mamenchisaurus would be really nice, and I know a lot of fans would absolutely adore seeing this sauropod return and get more screen time. But the most likely one that it is by the slightest amount is Apatosaurus. Again, I'm not a paleontologist, I can't identify stuff from just the footprint alone, especially in an alternate movie universe where things could be slightly different. But in my opinion, from what I can identify and work out here, it seems like Apatosaurus is slightly in the lead to be what this footprint could be and what Darius could be tracking down. It just makes the most sense, and it seems the most logical at this point. But don't get me wrong, my heart is set on Mamenchisaurus, maybe a little bit of Dreadnoughtus, but I really want to see Mamenchisaurus, and I really do hope I am wrong and that this is Mamenchisaurus instead. But yes, that is a brand new theory that I've decided to come up with randomly, trying to identify what the footprints could be, and in order, it's most likely Apatosaurus, then it could be Mamenchisaurus, then Dreadnoughtus, and then Brachiosaurus. You watch them make it a Brachiosaurus somehow. I'm going to be so heartbroken if they do that. But anyways guys, if you enjoyed today's video, be sure to leave a like and let me know what footprints you think that this could be in the Chaos Theory trailer. To me, it's a rather interesting concept, and I can't wait to see what the fans say here, and I can't wait to actually see what it could be. Fingers crossed for Mamenchisaurus. But anyways guys, if you enjoyed, leave a like, subscribe if you're new, and comment down below. But most importantly, all I ask for from you guys today is to make sure you're all staying safe out there, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye bye. Hello, hi, you. Did you enjoy the video? Just a little reminder to press that like button and also subscribe. I just want to thank my Patreons for this month on screen right here, as giving me that little extra support really does go a long way. But anyways, I hope you guys have an amazing rest of your day.